This is day 1707 of the Arukh HaShulchan. Today we're doing Chesed Mishpat, Siman Shin Samach Hey Siv Vav, to Siman Shin Samach Zayin Siv Beis. Vav. Im Ruven Omer LeShimon. If Ruven says to Shimon, Gazalti me'avicha, I stole from your father, but any of them, Mona, Imo, Simon, done for 100, 200. Or Shomar, he says, Shimon Levi, to the Shimon Levi goes out to me, Abi Shachan Mikem. I stole from one of your fathers, Mana, $100, but I don't know which one. It's not clear. If according to the letter of law, you have to give one each one of the $100. You know, the Mina Chayev says, oh, sure, I think he does. He does. He has to give one each $100. But because I forgot to be cut, and even though if it's an object which is given to him for safekeeping, I don't remember who gave it to him. And a Chayev Raklis is he only has to give back the Picardon to each one in order to fulfill his heavenly obligation. Trying to ask him a little pasha. That's where he wasn't criminal. But by he robbed, he certainly was he was criminal. But the below tabi le'adin shabek even if they're not demanding it from him, the halachas is saying like pikarim much gazamnu. That's when he says, "I stole from one of you," and they have a weaker case, so to speak, because they don't. The fact that they don't know that and they should know which one of them was robbed. But by the fathers they know him knowing, so therefore they should each get. Right, my Mishnah Mafki evidence for the Mishnah Mafki Taflam time, but see the time it says, "Our Mishnah is out there." Somebody says to two people, "I stole from one of you, Mana $100. I don't know which one, or if you shall come again if it's or the father of one of you left by me $100. This says Zemana, you give each one $100. But Gemara Mard Lo Tavile, this Gemara says they did not demand it from him, but it says Ishmael, but he wants to fulfill his heavenly obligation. Now, since it changes, by theft it says you stole from them themselves. By because it says you stole from the father. You took God's become from the father. So from this we can deduce that if you stole from the father, then according to the letter of the law, you have to give each one. If you stole for one person, any of them you don't know if you get made restitution to him. I'll be sure to also even though he's not demanding it for you, you must pay him in both says you want to fulfill your heavenly obligation. But you said something, I don't know if I robbed you or not. I feel about says if you want to fulfill your heavenly obligation, you don't have to pay him. Like we said, in similar principle, any of them he was son, he puts him Medina. If I say something, I don't know if you owe me money. I don't have to pay you anything, even if let's say they shemaim. Let's say shemaim. When do I have to give him something? Let's say shemaim in tovo. If the other guy says, yeah, you better you owe me, you should pay me. Chayiv, you have to pay me lav, and if not, potter, if not, he's exempt. Ches davar pashu. It's obvious the b'chol dvarim shetzorach la'asir l'shnei medina or about says shemaim. It's obvious in all these cases where according to the letter of the law you have to get back to both of them, or you want to fulfill heavenly obligation. That's they're not moichelim. They don't not willing to forgive the obligation. I was both of them forgive the obligation. As a Safi in the case of doubt, Potter is exempt of even to fulfill the heavenly obligation. Once they forgive the obligation, they can't renege on that. Mechila does not require a kinin. Even though they make a kinin on the mechila, they make a take a handkerchief or a pen and make a kinin sudar. Doesn't matter. It's appropriate for people from who rob to be meichel the robber. So you shouldn't have to pay more than what he stole. If they are God fearing. And in order that they themselves should not be subject to the question of doubtful theft if they're taking money which is not actually theirs. And also not to weaken the hands of Ali Tshuva who could have difficulty making proper restitution. I once in my years as Rebbe Nor Sameach had somebody who came to me with a detailed list of all the things he did when he was younger and wanted to make restitution for them. And boy, what a tzaddik. All of us probably have lists like that. And we had a long discussion what to do. Obviously, he didn't know everybody who he had damaged or lost track of them, but it was incredible. So all of us have travelers like that, and he may so which the people who were damaged are supposed to be moichel in order to make the direct tshuva less difficult. If by one of the people for whom was stolen, he holds for sure the $100 stolen from me, and the second guy is in doubt. The person who says it's for sure mine. Safek, the person who's in doubt. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what it means. Atil Kabbalah Bala Vadai. I have no idea. Excuse me. um, I really don't know. I think what it means is you can say Kilu he's Kabalti. In you can say that $200 he received, it's as if I received it, and therefore I'm loyal to you. Maybe. Shin Sarfab. God is supposed to true and Menu. God comes to true that we accept from him. Omer Chazal said Gazlonim, robbers, Malbir Ribis, and people who loan money and interest. She zero want to come make restitution. Aim Meham, you don't accept it from them. If I'm a Meham and somebody who accepts from them, ain't not pleased with it. When the Gaza speakers was tshuva, there was a story with a person who was the Gaza who wanted to do tshuva. Armlo Ishto's wife said to him, "Reika, empty one. Tshuva. If you do tshuva, I feel avnei even your belt won't be yours. But nimna tshuva, and you refrain not to tshuva. Tiknu." Therefore, they enacted this enactment. So a person not refrain from doing tshuva. But Dafka Gaza, before there's a famous Gaza in Shasaka Bekach. This is how he runs his commercial activity. Shuvasa kasha is the shuva is difficult. It's kasha he has to get back everything else. A guy's not correct, but somebody who's an occasional robber. It's a mekayim, you accept from him. I feel Gaza Ashoka Bekach, somebody who this is his primary pursuit. Dafka Shabbat says true me'at, so Zillion comes to do true on his own. But this scenario we're concerned. Lo yimanam, so shuva, they should not refrain from doing tshuva. But if we have to compel him to give back whatever he stole, we accept it back. I know he stole the tshuva, he didn't arouse himself to do tshuva. It's also been out with specifically where the stolen object is no longer extant. But it is extant, we accept it for him. This is also true if somebody stole a beam and built it in his house. Even though it is extensive, it's not extant. That's the Shavin, the classic one. The Tiknu Shesham Damim Chazal instituted they should pay money. Shim Samach and Lu the beam. Imhu Gazan, therefore he's a famous Gazan. Ain't common I feel dumb, we don't accept from him even the cost of the beam. But if he stole land, and built buildings on the land, those that say that feel Gazan, unfortunately, even he's a famous Gazan, who also tshuva me'atzmo, and was coming to tshuva on his own initiative. So Binyan has got to wreck the buildings, Machzir Karka, and give back the land, and Makai we accept from him. That's the smart. They didn't make the Takanas Hashavim, this Takana for people doing tshuva by land, because it's never really taken away. So too, if the person who stole is obligated to other people with normal obligations, so he accepts from him no matter what, in order to fulfill his obligations. I'm trying to fulfill obligation with the Gzela. Oh, Nigzal, sorry, the Nigzal. If the person from whom the object is stolen is chayav to other people, then he accepts the gzela from the Gazan, even if he's the Gazan before some, no matter what. They probably was about to pay his own obligations. There's nowhere else to pay. No way else to pay his own obligations. That's Meshach. Based in Gazlan says Shilchim Ramale and Nigzal any Makabim Mumchak Tas Chamim. If the Gazlan came to get to make restitution, the Nigzal said, person who was robbed said, "I'm not accepting from you because that is the kind of Chachamim." Ramale Gazlan said, "Avu Yishat Mochali, even though you forgive me, I don't want that." And Nero said, "Says to Ishmael, I want to fulfill my heavenly obligation. I was able to give it back to you." At that point, we don't protest to a person from who was robbed and tell him not to accept it. You don't have to don't have to try and convince him not to give back your stolen goods. This takon is no different than no superior mishmita than the case shmita. The max yuchol achar shvis. Somebody is returning a debt after shmita, even though shmita canceled. So the creditor has to say, I relinquish the debt. If the borrower says, nevertheless I want to pay, I may accept from it because I'm saying. No, it's not completely similar. The bisham there, you can bring around the conversation to the point where the person who borrowed the money from you says, "You know what, I want to pay you back." Oh joy, fantastic! But here, because here should not do. This game is eliminated because we're sensitive because it's the kind of for people doing tshuva. Also, if the person does not come to do tshuva in his own initiative, but the person who was robbed comes to base in and demands restitution, we make it back. Also, in terms of a basin compelling a person to get back all his stolen items, was time to receive the olive. Also apply also to not just a famous robber, but a famous sneak thief, a burglar. Since somebody who loans money to interest, who this is his main activity. He's right here. That's shepherds and tax collectors, shuvas and kosher, their shuva is difficult. There's just goes because by default they steal from the masses. They don't know to whom to give it back. If you said they should take the stolen items and use them for the needs of the public. Gomboros such as wells, sichin, dugouts, and moros and caves, fixing highways, merchantos and bathhouses, etc. The ultimately the people from whom the money was stolen, they'll get some benefit. But there's no mechila here possible. Nobody knows if he stole from him or not. But says Arukh HaShulchan, when you do use it for the public weal, Hashem, the theological statement here, Hashem will ring about any one of the people who was stolen from, or Hashem, or one of their heirs, will get a benefit if he so according to the value of that of his stolen property. And that somehow they will consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously be mechlim. But above the time of so somebody comes to him with tire, wants to amend his ways. They fix him. They help him out from heaven. That there should be some hashgacha in his achieving kapara. For roim, shepherds, it means they're shepherding their own animals. But they're shepherding other people's animals. Interestingly, we don't assume that they're kassoim. People don't sin for other people's benefit, only for their own benefit. Daled, you rightly it seems to be based on the kufa gazlan. So even though based on his capacity to compel the gazlan to get back to Gzela Kofina, so they compel him. The people who steal from the masses, from the public, we don't compel them to contribute to the weak weal. The lava shava malya, it's not actual restitution. Eladimis or matzor, but if he comes and a row becomes aroused on its own, lasos tshuva to repent. Often we say by him to use it for public welfare. Kim Shah talking about because there's no other way you can fix it. Velosh basic kufla zeh not, but not the basic compels us. Simin shinun hey nizbar ofen a chazor beganav in tzarek das bailim. It's clarified by ganav, a thief, if he has to, the owner has to be aware of his making the restitution. Chol dinim noagin gam begazon does also apply by gazon. Achiganin das bach lo das bailim. Lo shai bagazon got, but needing the knowledge of the person who was robbed, that he should be aware that the object was returned, is not so relevant here. Most cases, he knows that he was robbed, and the thing shows up in his doorstep. He knows to get it back. Hey, but Simon Shinun, hey, is bar the ain't talk about das b'shas chazorah. Says that the owner does not have to know at the time the restitution is made, but he must make restitution to the jurisdiction of the owner. If there was a vessel in the hand of the Babais, the son, or biad avdo, or in the slave's hands, and somebody stole this vessel, may have been or have from the son or from the slave, Shlomi das without the owner's consent. The Shtam should use it, how raise the shol Shlomi das, that he is a classic borrower without consent. The Dino Gazan, he has the status of a robber. Vikam lo b'shuso, it is now under his responsibility, and he is liable if anything befalls it, even act of God, until restored to the owner. If you get back to the son, or the slave, of a menu, and it got lost in the son's or slave's hands, or Nishbar was broken in their hands, the robber has to pay. Even though when he began the process, the vessel was in the hands of the son, or the slave, Medasov, with the father's consent, or Harab, or the master's consent. Nevertheless, since this person took it without the father or master's awareness, that's why you have to give it back to the owner himself. But specifically when the child is a minor, I've been gone but the child is an adult, since you put it back in the place where you took it from, give it back to a person who is of intellectual maturity, parts are exempt. In this respect, the shol is not like a thief. Most time it seem like a robber. Most time it seems like base. But katan having midas. So if he gets back to a katan, it's as if you're causing a deliberate loss. In this respect, the halach is like katan. Most time it seems like how. It's a chiddush. Vav agoyz as chaver b'yishuv. Somebody goes to robs his friend in the city. In the community, or settled place. He wants to get back to him in the desert. He does not feel his obligation of restitution. If the person who was robbed does not want to accept it there, and you're trying to get back to him against his will, and he came unless he accepts it willfully. I might as well be shuv, but he gives it back in the city. I feel even it's not a place in which the theft took place. You see there, Shava, you fulfill the obligation to make restitution. Even you're compelling the person who you stole to take it back. Simen Grace Side Gimel these bar Bikana Madino. There explains why Bikana Allah says. Shem these bar then becomes clear that Mafkid any Acholi Ba Manifka of a Makum Shifkid, the person who gave the object for safekeeping can only demand it back from the person who was given in the place where it was given. With Gazan Lo Shach Zeh by Gazan is not relevant. The person from whom was stolen can demand back the object. Even not a place where it was stolen from. It's not like a bikana baratzon, where the bikana was with acquiescence. Shin Simon Zayin Gazlan Shanishba Gazlan took an oath for Chol Dinav, and all of his halachas about goes to somebody who steals from his father. If Hagozas Chaver somebody steals from his friend, Barotza Shivas again wants to get back the stolen object, the robbed object. Paying the zakat, the person who was robbed is not here. And the person is not required to bring the gzela to the place where he is. Rather, he sends a notification to that nigzal's place that he want to give it back, and he should come and take it. Goes that saying that where he didn't concede the theft, witnesses came and testified that he stole it, robbed it. But even if the nigzal, the person from was robbed, demands it, the kafar bo, and the Gazan denied him, and then he changed his mind and he confessed. He doesn't have to run after the owner to give it back to him. Although he keeps it in his hand, I shall buy these limits until the owner comes and takes it. But you have to let him know. But near this it seems this is only when you stole from him here. But and the Nigza went elsewhere. We stole from him elsewhere. And the Nigza remains in that location. So you have to take a place away from which you robbed it. All Gazlan have to get back to the place where they robbed from. And back to the brackets, it seems that way from the Shach. Base that which said that you don't have to take the stolen object to him. But when it's didn't take a shvua. I was took a false oath. Then you confess. Which case you have to pay the principal plus an additional fifth. You have to be a korban because he purchased Vayikra. Amru, they said that Goizel, in this case, they said that Goizel shel pruta, somebody stole even the value of a pruta, and then took a false oath. You have to bring it to him. I feel more like even to media, which is very distant from Eretz Yisrael, distant from Bavel. The Shakesef lo, I feel more like Shakesef lo yechashvu. I think it means even though it's not worth it. Even though expenditure will be more than the stolen object. Anyway, by the time Chazal say Kapar Lavi there's no atonement out of the Mata Yade until the Nigza receives it. That when he is found to be guilty, he has to give back to the person from whom he take it. I feel like that and the Gaza therefore, even the Gazlan knows clearly that the Nigza did not give a pope. Not sure why it's in Afilu. Whenever he has no kapara until he gives it back to his hand. And even today, in our days when there's no korban to accompany this, is applicable. You have no kapara to give it back to his hand. And that's it for today.